Let's see. Hey guys, how's it now? Oh man, I don't see it again. Thanks, guys. I am literally at a point where if it doesn't work this time, I might just like go on YouTube and find some royalty-free music. Yeah, I'll try to keep it interesting. I'm just really I don't know why it's not doing it again. Yeah, I can. I don't know why. See. Like really bombastic and man. Um yeah, that could be it. Let me look. Okay, no. Um da 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 da. Oh man. I'm sorry, guys. No? Miles. Da 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 da. Yeah. Fault. No. I might actually do all the sound effects myself. Because this is just. I don't know what's going on. I'll try. Alright, here we go. To fly freely at the speed of sound like a fighter jet. Whoosh! Hit record. To fearlessly withstand all the attacks like a tank. Boom! To wield the weaponry of a fortress, a warship. Boom! Again. What if all these superpowers were compressed into the left hand of a single soldier? Like One Punch Man. That'd be neat. I'm not talking about some sort of comic book hero like Captain America. What you're looking at is the next generation of soldiers who will defend peace. The aerial augmented infantry, otherwise known as the Gauntlet Knights. This elegant gauntlet, worn on the left hand and reminiscent of medieval knights, contains all weapons and technology humanity has given birth to thus far. The video showed a lone boy soldier wearing a gauntlet on his left arm, standing on a massive airstrip. Whistle. I'm bad at whistle. A whistle blew. His body floated upward about 10 centimeters. He was literally floating, as said in the previous sentence. Cutting edge 8MS techniques made it possible to create and control fields, releasing his body from gravity. Whistle again. The whistle blew again. His body floating danced like a bird, flitting about space over the airship at will. Gauntlets give soldiers the same mobility as an aircraft. Their maximum speed is no way inferior to the best fighter jets around the world. And the powerful G's that would normally be harsh, put a harsh burden on them, have eased thanks to anti-G8MS in their bodies. This allows them to fly in ways pilots of existing aircraft could never dream of. Like Iron Man. Or this buff dude on the logo. And when taken to an extreme, even ricochet flying is possible. The video changed scenes. A Gauntlet Knight practicing in the skies above the training grounds was being recorded from behind by a friendly plane in pursuit. One moment, the Gauntlet Knight flying in elegant, familiar way of a plane. The next, its trajectory became complicated and bizarre, as if it was being bounced at odd angles, the diffused reflections of light. How bad is this? Because it looked like they were rebounding fiercely off the walls of a pipe as they flew. This was known as ricochet flying. As the word ricochet suggests, the Gauntlet Knight kept... See, every time I hear ricochet, I think of this wrestler, Ricochet, who's like very underused. As the word ricochet suggests, the Gauntlet Knights kept flying at a fierce, sharp angles without losing any of their speed. Normally, flying like this would put enormous G's on the brain and all over their body, likely killing them instantly. However, 8MS Tech has freed them from all of ground's restrictions. Even amazing mid-air movements like these are now possible. And I want you to pay close attention to this footage. This is a fire control system trying to target a Gauntlet Knight. As it tried to target the ricochet flying Gauntlet Knight, a computer-controlled sight indicator with prediction lines kept appearing and disappearing. The Knight's movement, which ignored common sense of physics, confused the fire control system, and it was completely unable to lock onto its target. All fire control systems created so far were completely useless. Though they can display this level of mid-air mobility, Gauntlet Knights are not planes.
They truly are infantry. Aerial augmented infantry! Their ability to land and take off is completely unrestricted. They can carry out tactical operations anywhere a human is able to stand.
By this point, the Gauntlet Knight already possessed all the strengths of fighter jets, VTOL aircraft, and helicopters.
So then, what about their weaponry? You're probably thinking that, regardless of their mobility, they'll be completely useless if they don't have firepower to take down their targets. But when it comes to Gauntlet Knights, that's an utterly needless concern.
The Dimension Containment System, brought to you by cutting-edge 4DP technology. And I take that again. Whoa! The Dimension Containment System, brought to you by cutting-edge 4D technology, made possible for the person to take massive arsenals of weaponry, ammunition with them. The scene changed. A boy soldier who was apparently a Gauntlet Knight stood in what looked like a vehicle service station. Set about him, radial pattern, all sorts of weapons, like a weapon bargain sale. Actually went to an estate sale today. There was a weapon, now that I think about it, so there were rows and rows of missiles designed for fighter jets. There weren't any at the estate sale. Just as many precision smart bombs, even several heavy torpedoes designed for major warships. So, like, when I went to the estate sale, like, it was kind of frightening because people don't keep distance. There was, like, this one guy who just kept pushing me away from this box of VHS tapes. I managed to get a few. Like, one of them was named Marco Polo scratched out, Marco Polo 2 scratched out, surviving a really bad day. I should have smacked him. Then there was, like, this tape, like, crudely written on that said schizophrenia, and I was like, I gotta know what this is. Yeah. Just as many precision bombs, even several heavy torpedoes designed for major warships. This was clearly more weaponry than your average fighter jet. Furthermore, there were howitzers and their ammunition laid out alongside them, as well as multi-barreled machine guns with ammo belts folded several times over. So, I know it's not, like, related to Higurashi according to you guys, but now I'm just imagining some of the characters with all of this, and I like it. I have found objects that I thought to be cursed. I was in an estate sale once where they had... Sorry. Oh, I know it's not directly related, Reda. You know, like, all I know is, like, Umineko supposedly has, what's her face? Maybe. And then, like, the new series, somebody was theorizing that somebody from there shows up, but I'm very green when it comes to this guy's work. But getting back to cursed objects and estate sales, so I was like at this estate sale, and it was clearly like this old man's house, and I found a Furby. There was nothing else to suggest that like it was like his kid's Furby or just somebody else's Furby that they were trying to sell. It was just an old man's house and a Furby. So Cookie, it's this like show about a small town where these kids go like, have fun. They're in a club, and it's like very, like slice of life, and then they all kill each other. Repeat. Like seriously, that's not even like spoiling it. It the arcs repeat, and there's like a reason for it, but I'm not going to go into that. It's just uh you watch these like anime girls just kind of lose their shit and just start chopping. All right, back to the novel. That wasn't all. There were also reconnaissance drones, several types of signal flares, ammunition resupply containers, and various construction kits, and everything down to the slightest detail packed in. To like spoon or something as well.
This massive set of military ordnance can all be carried by a single gauntlet knight. And if they specialize in carrying capacity, they can fit in the same amount of weaponry as an attack carrier. Witness the amount of armament battleship and the mobility of a fire jet. This is a gauntlet knight! But that's not all. They also possess an ultimate technique that cannot be produced with any currently existing weaponry. Watch and learn!
Yeah, to my understanding, this is like, a war drama in the future. But like I did a poll and people wanted to hear it. So I was like, hell yeah, I'll do it. The scene changed. It now appeared to be an outdoor shooting range. The same Gauntlet Knight soldier boy stepped forward. Several adult soldiers stood side by side with some distance away, all pointing guns at him. Boom, 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 boom! Immediately after the whistle blew, the sound of gunfire and smoke rushed towards the boy, as though a bunch of firecrackers had been sent off. Set off. That was it. Nothing happened. Bit of a letdown.
Do you understand what just happened? Let's slow it down a bit.
The same scene was replayed in super slow motion. Bullets were launched from the soldiers' guns. However, they all bounced back along with a white glow from directly in front of the Gauntlet Knight. That's my congestion. The next time a whistle blew, a soldier who had been lying prone and wielding a light machine gun sent a signal, then laid down a powerful barrage. It was so fierce you could see what was happening clearly now, even without slow motion.
This is the invincible defense gauntlet proudly weld, the rejection shield!
Yeah, I don't think I'm doing it justice with the sort of almighty Announcer voice. The scene changed again. Same scene. The same soldier boy was standing in a different part of the shooting range, but this time the camera was far away from him. Boom! After a countdown, the boy was swallowed up in a massive explosion like something out of a Hollywood film. But when the flames disappeared, he was standing there with a blank expression, as though nothing had happened.
An invisible defense! And easy control over the skies!
And the ability to use endless weapons.
And the ability to use endless weapons at will! And every little bit of that is all compressed into a single Gauntlet Knight. In this new era, the numbers representing the military might of nations will surely shrink drastically. All we'll need to know is how many talented Gauntlet Knight each nation has. The scene changed several more times, showing various scenes of Gauntlet Knights training. Sometimes they led fighter jet formations. Sometimes they led aircraft carrier fleets. Then they landed jauntily on the ground, surrounded by a tank division. Come, boys and girls yearning to become defenders of peace! Wouldn't you like to join those who stand at the head of militaries of peace, blazing the way into the new era? The aerial augmented infantry awaits you! The moment you put on a gauntlet, the moment you put a gauntlet on your left arm, you will become a Gauntlet Knight! Very nicely made. Do you think you could get it a bit shorter, though? My back's starting to hurt. The old officer rose from the projection, rubbing his back. A young, voluptuous female officer, seemed to be a private secretary, helped him up. No, sir. We cannot make it any shorter in light of the regulations. Is that so? Very well, very well. By the way, kids like explosions, right? Bang, boom, all of that. We gotta add more flashy scenes. Also, hook the first 15 seconds is important, right? I studied film back in the day, so I know all about that. When the old officer started talking proudly, the other officers all took their notepads out and made a show of writing down more diligently. Look at this moronic video they've put. As if putting a robot toy on your arm could turn anyone into a superhuman being. In the first place, these augmented infantry things are just theoretical. If it was just a porthole system for individual flight wielded by a specialist troop, they'd be realistic enough. But then you throw one bit of ridiculous technology after another and call them Gauntlet Knights? What are they? Superheroes from some American comic book? Truth be told, they kind of sound like Iron Man.
True, there weren't any lies in their catalog specs. They could all fly like fighter jets, carry weaponry like battleships, set up invincible barriers like tanks. In that propaganda video, that brat looked like he was flying around happily. Still, the shock reduction provided by the anti-G8MS isn't invincible. He did a bit too much ricochet flying. After the shoot, the capillaries in his eyeballs ruptured. Okay, so that's the tone you were talking about, huh, Retta? Eventually rendering him unconscious and probably blind? If only they'd filmed it in one take, he'd probably be still able to see. Even the dimensional container, which worked like a four-dimensional pocket, kept having issues. Just how many brats have been turned into mincemeat when they tried to open it up, and then immediately got hit by an explosion before it could fire up their rejection shield? Even the rejection shield only had become more stable very recently. If it doesn't work perfectly when a brat's flying at 800 kilometers per hour, all it takes is a lazily flying pigeon to smash their head to bits. Well, we'll soon have plenty of brats to work with. Put up flashy ads that at least look good. You'll have all the stupid kids you need. After all, anyone would want to do it. If I'd been in my teens and someone told me I could become the face of our entire military, flying unaided through the sky, I'd be screwed too. Still, bird in the hands, worth two in the bush. In the end, it'll just be an e-sport where you can't even really fly outside the simulator.
By the way, the augmented infantry boy in this video really is young and bold. I'd like to get a chance to meet him. Do you think you could bring him to dinner tonight? Oh, that sounds excellent. Captain Okanogi.
Major General, sir. I'm afraid to say he's already perished in the line of duty.
What? Is that true? Oh, what a shame. He looked magnificent, so I was hoping to give his career a boost. Too bad. Too bad.
That explosion scene in the video just also the death, Major General, sir. The filming schedule was a bit too rushed, so he must have been overworked. He screwed up with his shield during the flashiest scene at the very end. Thanks to that, we were forced to edit to make it look like he'd survived a massive blast. God damn it. It's not like we've got this budget for this kind of thing. Yeah, they don't like kids. da, 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 da. Sir, it's about the time you went to your It's about time you went to your car. I don't have a voice for her.
Oh, okay. Well then, keep up the good work, everyone. Also, Everyone's eyes will be on the Aerial Augmented Infantry Division at Battle Standard Festival, to make sure you give it your all. By the way, I believe a contestant from here in the Japan will be representing the AOU. Correct?
Yes, sir. It's Second Lieutenant Matake Miu of the 017th Aerial Augmented Infantry Squad, Warcat. Damn it, if that skinny brat's supposed to be representing the rising sun at the International Battle Standard Festival, this world is really screwed. Here we are at the start of the game. It's all right, G. You missed all the prologue. It was interesting. It was they hate their kids. Thank you for waiting so long for us to prepare. Now I will finally start up the game. However, sure about this? This is merely my personal opinion, but I believe the difficulty level is quite high given the present circumstance. Still, I'm well aware that you know the joy of victory, especially over conditions such as that. This is a considerably high tier of difficulty. Your opponent is already fully prepared. Boom. Warning, this was created in Japan in the year 2019. We cannot guarantee the possession of this work in your country currently conforms to your country's wow. Yeah, Red, you kind of were right. This really sets the tone. Furthermore, if possession of this work results in any sort of damages, we cannot be held responsible for compensation. There are anime about girls who are guns and much worse things. I'm concerned. Hell yeah, Cookie, we're doing crimes. Are you sure, Retta? You were like, man, this is pretty positive, and then it's like, yeah, his eyes are gone. Fuck that kid. I can't say that on stream. You know this is made by the people who made Higurashi, right? And I don't think that game had one of these. And that's just child murder. All right. Dive in. There's more? Oh. I certainly hope so. Additionally, distributing this work on the internet without the creator's consent is forbidden. You must agree to pay us 10 million Japanese yen if you break this rule. If you do not agree, take personal responsibility for owning and reading this work and the risks involved in doing so. We ask that you uninstall it immediately. Okay. Oh, I clicked. This is a work of fiction. Any similarities to real individuals, groups, religions, all of creation, the will of the universe, plans of God, or the Vatican document number 34, which says porn will be made of anything, are entirely coincidental. This work does not approve of any specific ideology, nor does it represent the ideology of its creators. Oh, thank you, Frog. Yeah, you mentioned that right now, and I was like looking around everywhere. I was like, oh my, where is this stream limit? There it is. I guess we'll just go to the 7th chapter. City. Night. Darkness. This little girl. The top of the Super Tokyo Tower. That's 666 meters above the ground. Surrounding it, the scenery of the night stretched as far as the horizon. The hustle and bustle of the surface didn't reach this place, nor did it trouble, complicate. The sky is the only place we can truly be free. And there, atop the antenna mast, at the peak of the tower, I stood. My fear of heights, now little more than a fond of